Welcome back. You're watching bnsn on ET Now show where we get your answers for all of your stock-related query. Remember, viewers, you can connect to us live on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on your screen. Do remember that each time you write to us, mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, mention that as well, along with the buy price, the quantity, as well as the time horizon. In that way, our experts will be able to help you better. And just a quick note for all of our viewers and for the benefit of our viewers that we on the show will be avoiding taking any penny stock related queries. So please bear that in mind and don't be disappointed if we've not taken your query on the show. Talking about a guest today, we have Sharmila Joshi who's joining us on the fundamentals this morning. While on the technical front, we have Osho Krishan who's joining us on the show. Very good morning to you, Osho, as well as Sharmila. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And let's kickstart taking all the queries that have been actually pouring in. In fact, this one is coming from RK. He's writing to us from Ambernath and he wants to know whether he should go ahead and look at JK Tyre, CEAT, or for the matter of fact, LIC Housing Finance, because he's saying that the stock prices have been actually seeing a downtrend move. When will they see an uptrend and whether it makes sense to invest in these companies? What's your take, Sharmila? JK Tyre, CEAT, or for the matter of fact, LIC Housing Finance, two in the similar category, one in the divergent one.
Yeah, I was fully expecting the third company also to be a tire company, and then I was surprised to find LIC Housing in that list. But yes, I get the logic that basically the investor is looking at stock prices which are falling, and so maybe he's had this on his lookout, and he wonders whether they would be correct levels to enter. So I think if you're a long-term investor, according to me, all three stocks are good. And for different reasons. I think when we're talking of tire companies, we must bear in mind that given the kind of auto data that we've had, this will be a sector that will continue to do well. So JK Tyre and CEAT, from that perspective, I like. I think JK Tyre even looks good from a valuation perspective. And again, when housing as a sector is concerned, I like real estate as a sector, and within that I think housing finance companies have a niche role to play, and within that the niche actually is LIC Housing. The kind of loans that they give, the ticket size, the kind of the people they are catering to. So according to me, all three stocks are good, and if you're a long-term investor, I think the approach should be that you start buying, and if the market were to correct, because I've been reading a lot of things that say that this is the worst month of the year for market, so maybe you could see lower levels, so use those levels to add more. But from a fundamental perspective, all three stocks are.
All right, that's the take coming in from all these counters. But Osho, very good morning to you. The first query that I have is coming in from Reena Thomas, holding SBI Life 50 shares. Buy price is 1,643 rupees, and what a move in all these life insurance companies. But Reena can still hold for the next 3 months. What's your take on this, Osho? Hold or exit?
Very good morning. Firstly, thank you for having me at the show. Well, now coming to the query on SBI Life, then this counter have seen a very drastic upsurge and it's currently hovering around the zone of 1900. So this surge has been very vertical in nature, from the zone of approximately 1400 towards the zone of 1900, and all the insurance sector space is looking very positive to me for the time being. But again, looking at the recent trajectory of upsurge, it's better to keep some kind of profit booking at these levels, because on technical front we have already witnessed a very strong overbought positions in these counters. So better to keep a trailing stop loss around the zone of 1850 for SBI Life and keep holding it till the time momentum prevails in these counters. So overall 1900 1920 was the target for the breakout that we have seen on the technical chart, and it is hovering just around the same resistance zone. So it is always advisable to keep a trailing stop loss of 1850 for the timing. If we see the counter to surging on the higher end, then we will be trailing the stop loss to the higher zone of 1900. But for the timing, 1850 should be the stop loss.
All right, coming right back to you, actually, Osho, to get your view on everyone's all-time favorite stock, and that has to be HDFC Bank. I will get your also view on this one, Sharmila. But HDFC Bank, our viewer wants to know wants a short-term to medium-term view on this one. This one is from Rajan. He's writing to us from Bangalore. Now, I'm not sure if Rajan has already taken the plunge into HDFC Bank. Is he holding in his portfolio, or if he's looking to actually go ahead and buy? What's your take in the short to medium term on the charts actually? Because if you talk about HDFC Bank, that's one stock that everyone says has to be in your portfolio. It is mother of all banks in India right now.
See, overall, as you have mentioned that this is being the one of the largest company in banking sector, it should be in the portfolio. But looking at the returns on this counter, they might not have been very significant return as per the broader market in the equity space. But overall, HDFC from the last 2 months has been very much stagnant, has been into a very strong consolidation around the zone of 1600. And I am expecting that this is a very strong base setup for this counter. Also, it is on the verge of giving a multi-week and multi-month breakout. So anytime it gives a breakout above the zone of 1680 to 1700, that will be a multi-week and multi-month breakout. So obviously one should stay intact with their investment in HDFC Bank. It will try the patience of an investor, but from longer period, one should definitely keep this counter in their portfolio. And I'm expecting that it is on the verge of giving a breakout. It will be just a time that where we can see a very strong movement coming in this counter. So definitely a buy for a higher targets of nearly 1750 to 1780 for short to medium term time frame.
Definitely a buy in the short to medium term time frame. Sharmila, what's your take? Yes, this one has not given returns, keeps disappointing investors. Every time you think that the breakout is imminent, it is going to just move upwards. The stock has not performed that well. Last 3 months, only 4.5% gain coming for HDFC Bank, but that's not. It seems quite a lot given the fact the stock has not done much over a couple of years. What's your take now for HDFC Bank? Long term, still intact? Do you go with that view?
So I'll just say two things. I think one thing is that recently, we've seen a lot of data on what kind of returns various sectors have given, and I think the one sector that has sort of lagged is banking as a sector. So I think that's a very key thing, when you're making a long-term investment to keep in mind, because we all know the kind of role that banking and financials play in a market that's going up. And in that setup, we have a sector that's not done too well. So I think there is a lot of catch-up left in the sector as a whole. So I think that's the first big positive. I think the second big positive for HDFC Bank is the fact that it has now become a global bank, global size bank. It counts among the largest banks globally. And if you want to really ride that and to see the synergies come into play post their merger and take the advantage of that going ahead, you need to ride out the bad news also. Because I think the jury is out there. Every time the numbers come, we know how market analyzes them. But I think that you need to keep faith. I think that this is a stock that will give investors return, but you need to be patient. So that's all I would like to really say. And I think that I'm in that camp that says HDFC Bank is a portfolio buy.
Well, certainly. So that's the fundamental as well as technical take coming in on the leader, HDFC Bank. But moving on to the next query. And Sharmila, once again coming to you, another banking stock, and that is from the PSU pack, Union Bank, where Ramesh from Delhi wants an advice. He's holding 2,000 shares, buy price is 59 rupees. At this point, can he add more, hold or sell at current levels?
I think definitely continue to hold what you have. I think the numbers are good. Valuations look reasonable. As we just discussed a little while earlier, this is a sector where hopefully we will see some catch up going forward. So I think for the moment, just hold what you have.
All right. This next query that I have is actually coming in. A lot of queries actually pouring in, so I'm just losing track of some of them. This one is coming in from Swati. And Swati wants to know, for a 2-year time frame, which one would be a better buy, Granules or TVS Motor? Let me take it to Osho. On the charts between TVS Motor and Granules, which one do you think looks good? Because both of them definitely not in the similar sector at all. What's your take?
Overall, as both the counters are from the different counter, one is from pharma, the other one is from auto, but technically both the counters are having a very blast on the returns front or on the price level front. Both the counters are hovering at 52 weeks high. TVS Motor is in the cycle of higher highs, higher lows, and it is expected that auto ancillaries companies are expected to see a very good run in the coming period also. So obviously, if she can carry or she can invest in both the stocks, then it will be better pick, because Granules again is looking very positive. Have seen a very drastic upsurge. There has been the momentum in the past 2 to 3 weeks, and I am expecting the pharma space is also gaining very strong traction. So granules from here onwards can see some kind of higher movement, but overall for fresh momentum, it will be advisable that a person should wait for some kind of dips, because for granules there has been a very strong vertical rally that has kept the technical parameters to overbought zone. But eventually 650, 660 is the zone where one should try to accumulate it for a longer duration. So granule is also looking good and TVS Motor is also looking good. So both are buy candidate from short to medium term or even for long term perspective.
All right, so that's the day coming in on TVS as well as granules. But Sharmila, the next query is coming in from Vinesh Gupta, writing to us from all the way from Jammu and Kashmir, and he wants an advice on one of the recently listed Unicommerce Solutions. He's already holding 200 shares, buy price is 215 rupees. Any take here, Sharmila? What to do in this one?
I'm sorry, I missed the stock name.
Unicommerce e-Solutions.
I've honestly never tracked this, so I would really refrain from.
All right. All right, but this is indeed one of the recently listed counters, and it did see great listing gains as well, and recently we did see decent earnings from the companies as well. But with this, viewers, let's slip into a very short break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Don't go anywhere. As we come right back, we will be taking more of your stock related queries. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now, and let's keep it going with all your stock related queries. We do have Osho as well as Sharmila with us, and I'm coming to you, Osho, for the next query, wherein Nikhil Sharma wants an advice on two stocks. Firstly, he's already holding the stocks of GAIL, 83 in quantity, buy price is 240 rupees. Should he go ahead and book profits in this one or hold for the long term? And his next query is on Dabur. When would it be the good time to sell Dabur, wherein he already have the stocks from a levels of 650 rupees? What's your take on both of these, Osho?
See, firstly, for GAIL, this counter is hovering in a secular uptrend. This counter has been in a secular uptrend. There can be some kind of in between blips that can be seen, but on the technical front, 218 and 220 is the immediate support for this counter. If the person can hold it for a longer duration, better to hold GAIL for medium to long term perspective, because overall the technical chart on broader term is very likely to showcase a very strong momentum in this counter. The other one, the other company was, can you please repeat again?
Dabur. You want an
Yes,
advice?
Dabur is basically on the verge of giving a breakout, although it has not given a breakout and is facing some kind of resilience around the zone of 650. But the time it gives a very strong breakout above the zone of 650, there can be a decent up move. So definitely a hold on this counter. One can definitely expect approximately 700 to 720 on a very short-term perspective. Overall, the trend is very bullish. There has been a very strong vertical rally from the zone of nearly 500 towards 650 odd levels. So if there will be any strong breakthrough above the zone of 650, that can boost a very strong momentum in this counter. Immediately 700 should be the target, but for medium term perspective, near about 760 to 780 should be seen as a target from medium to long term perspective.
All right, this next one is coming in from Rebecca. She's writing to us from Kolkata, and she has two stocks. Piramal Pharma, 50 shares. Trent, 10 stocks. She's making good profits in both. Should she hold on to it or look to book out profits and hold on to it for higher returns? What's your take, Sharmila, on both of these counters? She's not mentioned the buy price, definitely mentioning that she's making healthy set of profits in both of the counters, Trent as well as Piramal Pharma. What's your take based on the valuations they're trading right now? Do you see a scope of further upside? One should stay put with both of them or look to book out profits?
So Piramal Pharma I'm not too fond of, but I think that if she's making money and the fact that so obviously a buying price is lower, then there is a whole group that believes in CDMO as a business, and Piramal Pharma could benefit from that. So since you're making money, I think you can stay invested, and I think trend goes without saying. Definitely, I think it's a definite hold.
So hold coming in on Piramal Pharma, but the next query that I have is coming in from Satya and Sharmila. If you can help him with your view on Star Health, amongst the insurance space, do you like this company where Satya can go ahead and buy this counter afresh?
So I do like insurance as a space, and I think within that, Star Health is valuation wise and result wise, it's a good stock to buy. I think definitely you can consider buying it at this level. But I think broadly, what I would also advise is that what has worked is within this health life insurance space is to sort of make a basket of stocks and stay invested in that. But by on its own, also I think Star Health is worth investing in.
This one is coming from Dr. Parvez Jaffer. He's writing to us from Abu Dhabi. I'm sorry, Osho, I'm keeping you waiting, but Sharmila, since it's a long-term query, I'll come to you. He has 148 shares of India Mart Intermesh, which he's bought at an average price of 3,026 rupees per share. He's holding it since July last year. Can he hold for the long term? What's your take coming in on India Mart?
I think it's a definite hold. The valuations look supportive. Results are fairly good. I think just continue to hold what you want.
All right. The next query that I have is coming in on Hutco, and Osho Jaya from Bangalore wants an advice on this one because she's already holding 150 shares at an average price of 250 rupees. Can she go ahead and average and buy more of Hutco stock right now? What will be your advice?
See, overall, this counter have seen some kind of profit booking from the higher zone of 340, and currently there is no sign of consolidation for the timing. So better to wait for some kind of reversal in this counter. If the buying price is 250, I am expecting, because the technical parameters have already coolen off from the highs towards the comfortable zone. So I expect that the counter should consolidate near the zone of same 250, 245 odd levels. If it consolidates around the same zone, then one should definitely try to average out their buying, or can even add the position. But as of now, there has been no sign of reversal or consolidation in this counter. So don't be in a hurry to average the counter. If there will be any kind of consolidation and technical data represents a kind of a reversal signal in this counter, then only one should try to average the counter for a medium to long term perspective.
To you, because we have a viewer, Siddharth. He's writing to us from Kolkata. He has AU Small Finance Bank, 52 shares in his portfolio. Though he's not mentioned his previous buy price, now he wants to know at what price should he add some more of AU Small Finance Bank in his portfolio. Let's keep in mind that this one is in news because they are looking to apply to RBI for a universal banking license. So that's one of the reasons why AU Small Finance Bank is in news. Also, you have a lot of brokerage reports that's come out on the stock on back of that particular development. But if someone wants to add, what's the level then, Osho?
Counter have seen a drastic up move in today's trading session, and on the technical front, it has given a breakout. So if it sustains around the zone of 700 or 710 odd levels, then one should definitely try to accumulate the stock at current levels for a higher target of 780. This is purely on the technical basis because the counter have seen a very strong breakout, and that has been taken very long duration also. So if it sustains above the zone of 700 on a closing basis, then one should definitely try to accumulate this share. And on the higher end, the target comes around 780.
All right, moving on. Osho, the next query, I'm coming back to you because this one is a short-term query coming in from Shekhar from Bangalore. Wants an advice on BPCL, already holding 200 shares and bought at a price of 252 rupees, having stellar gains in this one. What to do now in this, Osho? In the short term, how do you see the stock moving? And he also has a query on City Union Bank. He's holding 200 shares from a price of 170 rupees.
See, firstly, for BPCL, this counter has been gaining very decent traction because of the fall in the crude oil prices, and obviously on the technical front, it is looking very positive. But from here onwards, there can be some kind of stagnation or profit booking that can attract this counter. So on the higher end, I am expecting 380 to 385 should be the zone where one should try to book their profits, or even they can even trail their stop losses. For now, it is approximately around the zone of 340. So one should keep a stop loss around 340 and wait for another rally of nearly 20-25 odd points in BPCL. The counter looks very positive for short term, and even after some correction, because there has been very strong rally. So even if there will be any correction towards the zone of 300 330 odd levels, that should be acting as a reaccumulation zone for BPCL. The other counter was CUB. So City Union Bank is also looking very positive to me. This counter have seen a very decent traction in the last 2 to 3 months. So I'm expecting that from here onwards, there can be some continuity on the higher end, not very much aggressive on the target, but for the short term, the immediate target comes around the zone of 182 to 185. That is where the bearish gap is on the daily time frame. So one should try to book their profits around the same zone, 180 to 85.
This next query that I have is coming from Jasna Begum, who's writing to us from Calicut, wants to know about three stocks: Cochin Shipyard, IRFC, and RVNL. Sharmila, she's making over 200% plus profit on all of these counters. Reasonable corrections are done on these stocks since July. Is it the right time to accumulate these stocks right now, or should she look to exit, given the fact that her buy price is much more attractive than what my screen is also showing right now? What should the viewer do now? Make sense to book out profits, or partially book out profits, or stay put with it?
And stay put with what you have. The only reason is that this is, all three stocks are good, and I think definitely they'll make money from here. But when you're making these kind of returns, you do feel a little concerned when stock starts correcting. So only from that perspective, I'm saying maybe you can book a little profit, because at the end of the day, when you take money, when you sell a stock and you take money, then that is the actual profit that you make. And then you can always buy more of the stock if if this market, this correction in PSU stocks continue. But I think the only thing that you need to bear in mind is that from these levels to make 200% return again looks a little difficult to me, which is the other reason why I'm saying that maybe you can partially book profits. But otherwise, I think I like all the three stocks, and you can continue to stay invested, providing you have the patience.
Hold on to the patience if you want to stay invested in Cochin Shipyard. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell on ET Now. Let's continue taking all of your stock related queries. Then this one is coming from Venu, who's writing to us from Chennai, wants to know about Biocon. 500 shares at a price of 385 rupees per share, wants to know a target for the next 6 months. What's your take, Osho? Any target that you have in mind for Biocon for the next 6 months?
See, overall, this counter has seen a very strong movement and has also seen a very decent breakout in the last trading session. So I'm expecting the momentum is there in this counter. And for short-term immediate perspective, around 420, 430 is the zone where one can eye for targets in a very short-term period. But again, we need to review the time it gives a breakout beyond 420. Then the next target comes around 480. But for the timing, 420 is the zone where it is specifically for a short-term perspective. That might be a positional basis also, but only if it gives a breakout above 420, then only we can see a drastic upsurge in this counter for a higher target of nearly 480 from short to medium term time frame.
Boot space. All right, moving on to the next query. The next query that I have is coming in on Power Grid, and Osho, once again a short-term query coming in from Sudhir, holding 2,000 shares of Power Grid. Buy price is 335 rupees. What's the target for the next 3 months, and what should be the strategy?
See, overall, this counter is into a very strong consolidation phase. Also, we can say it is into a time-wise corrective phase. But the positive development is that all the major technical parameters have cooling down from a very high levels towards the oversold territory. So this gives a very strong opportunity to accumulate this share. So he has bought it at a very decent valuation on the technical front. So I expect that from here onwards, there can be a very strong move that can be seen on a gradual basis from short to medium term time frame. Overall, for the very first resilience is somewhere around the zone of 350. The time it breaches the zone of 350, then only we can see a decent traction of another 30 odd points in this counter. So 350 and 380 is the target that one can expect in short to medium term time frame.
All right, this next one is coming in from BK Call. He wants to know about Hind Copper. 500 shares at a price of 340 rupees per share. Should our viewer continue to hold on to it or look to exit, Sharmila? At what levels to average if you are suggesting hold? But hold would also not mean that you should add some more in the portfolio, just for the clarity for our viewers. What's your take, Sharmila? What should be the strategy with Hind Copper?
I think just stay put with what you have. I wouldn't be in favor of adding further at this price.
All right, that's the take on Hind Copper. But the next query is also on one of the OMC stocks, Osho. This one is from Shankar, short-term trader, making profits in HPCL, having 40% profit in this one. And he also has IGL, holding with a profit of 30%. Both of these stocks, good to book out some partial profits or continue to hold on?
See, definitely for Hind Petro, the counter have seen a very strong move in the last 3 to 4 trading session, approximately post the breakout above the zone of 405, 410. This counter have seen a very stellar run, and on the technical parameters have entered into a very strong overbought territory. So better to either trail your stop losses. For now, the trailing stop loss comes around the zone of 438. So that should be the immediate stop loss that one should keep for HPCL and hold on to the momentum for this counter for another 1 to 2 trading sessions, or even can partial book profits also. But I will advise to better trail the stop loss around 438 in this counter. The other one was IGL, correct?
Having 30% profit in this one.
IGL again is looking very positive. This counter is also on a verge of consolidation breakout. So stay invested in this counter. I am expecting around 585 to 590 kind of a target from short-term perspective.
All right, with that, let's kickstart taking all of your queries in the rapid fire then. Sharmila, let me take the first query that's coming to you from Prabhaharan. He has Ola Electric and he's purchased at the levels of 113.5 rupees per share. What should he do? Stay put with it for the shorter term?
Yes. Shorter term, I don't know.
All right, Sharmila, the next query is on Titagarh Rail Systems. Anu from Delhi holding 114 shares from a price of 1687 rupees. What's your view on this one, Sharmila? She's sitting at a loss in this one, but she can still continue for the next 1 year.
Yes, I think continue to hold.
All right, this next one is coming in from Manoj Rele. He wants to know about Astral, 50 shares at a price of 1400 rupees per share, holding for more than 2 years. What should our viewer do with Astral right now, Osho?
See, overall, there has been a decent correction in this counter, so better to hold this counter. There can be a strong reversal coming post breakout around the zone of 1980 to 2000, and from there onwards, we can see a very drastic upsurge. So hold.
All right, Osho, the next query is from Murthy, having 1500 shares of First Source Solutions. Average price is 152 rupees. Would you advise to partially book out some profits in this particular stock or continue to hold on for the long term?
Definitely, one should partial book profits or can hold with a stop loss of 300. A strict stop loss of 300 for a short-term perspective. Even for medium-term perspective, better to hold with a stop loss of 300.
All right, Ashok Kumar from Mumbai wants to know about M&M Financial. He has 1000 shares, not given the buy price. But Sharmila, is it prudent to shift from M&M Financial to Geo Finance now?
Yes.
All right, Osho, the next query is on Ashok Leyland. Deepika Shah is holding 100 shares. Buy price is 173 rupees. Would you advise to move out of this one and book some profits right here?
Stay invested in this counter. It is still having very potential to see a very upside movement. Trail your profit with a stop loss of 240 and stay put with the investments.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the queries. Thank you so much, Sharmila, as well as Osho, for joining us on the show and resolving all of our viewer queries and patiently actually answering each one of them. And with that, viewers, we are totally out of time in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. It's a goodbye from Shrishti, myself, and the team that put the show together. Thank you so much for watching. But stay tuned. Markets at Noon is coming up next.